There is a truth your soul has known for a very long time, that no one in this world truly understands you, not even the ones you love most. And that has never been your fault. You may have felt this since a very young age, but tried to brush it away. You told yourself you were too sensitive, overthinking, or asking for too much. But again and again, it came back. Every time you spoke your heart and received nothing more than a blank stare, a polite smile, or a few shallow passing words, you still loved them. You still cared for them. You still walked alongside them through the years of your life. But deep inside, you knew there was a very important part of you they had never touched. Not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't. There is a kind of loneliness only those who've lived it can understand. It's not the feelings of being alone in an empty room. It's the loneliness you feel in the middle of a family dinner, in the laughter of friends, or in the embrace of your partner. It's when the whole world seems to be speaking the same language, and you, though you understand it, all cannot find a single word that will make them truly understand you. You still join the conversation, still nod, still smile. But a part of you stays silent, as if it exists in another dimension entirely. We grow up believing if someone loves me, they will understand me. But then you discover love and understanding do not always walk hand in hand. Someone may love you deeply, but only love the part of you they can see. The part you find easy to show them. The part they cannot see is the part you keep in the deepest chambers of your heart, the place almost no one has the courage to enter. Carl Jung called this distance the difference between the persona, the mask you wear to survive in the world, and the self, your truest being. Most people only ever interact with the mask. The true self, your soul, waits quietly for someone who can see through it. Realizing this for the first time can be shocking. You may ask yourself, does this mean I'll never truly be understood for the rest of my life? But the truth is, this is not a curse. It is a mark. The mark of a soul destined to walk a path that not everyone can walk alongside. A path where solitude is no longer a wound, but a sacred land where you find your own primal strength. It's proof that you've arrived at the threshold of a journey greater than yourself. A journey where you do not just live for yourself, but become a living testament for those still lost within their own souls. Not everyone can understand you, not because you're too complicated, but because each person can only understand others as deeply as they've understood themselves. If someone has never looked into their own shadow, the darker side of their being, they cannot recognize the dance between light and shadow within you. If they have never truly spoken with their own soul, they cannot step into your inner world. And so in those moments when you're not understood, you begin to learn how to listen to yourself. You learn how to sit in silence without feeling empty. You learn how to look straight into your own eyes in the mirror and whisper, "I'm here. I see you." The moment you realize no one truly understands me is like opening the door to a strange room. At first, it is dark, bare, and disorienting. But if you stay long enough, your eyes adjust to the darkness, and you begin to notice the delicate details daylight has never shown you. You understand that being loved is precious, but being understood is a rare gift. And if the world has not given you that gift, then you will be the one to give it to yourself. If you are hearing these words and feel something in your heart quietly tremble, stay here, because you are about to discover why your soul is different, and why that is not just a truth to accept, but a mission to. Maybe since childhood you've known you weren't like the people around you. No one had to tell you you could feel it. When all the kids your age were excited about a game, you were absorbed in drawing, reading, or sinking into endless why questions no one bothered to answer. When others could easily melt into a crowd, you felt like you were standing on the edge, observing, not blending in. Even in your happiest moments, there was always a vague emptiness inside you. At first, you thought you were just weird. But the older you grew, the clearer it became. You realized you could hear the things others overlooked, sense the emotional undertones hidden in every word. And sometimes, just by stepping into a room, you could tell if the air there was warm, tense, or heavy. Carl Jung called this the difference between the persona and the self. The persona is the mask you wear to be accepted in society, the you the world finds easy to see. The self is your true essence, the unchanging part of your soul that carries your questions and sensitivities, which not everyone can understand. From an early age, you learned to wear the mask smiling when needed, pretending to be fine when you were tired, saying the safe thing instead of revealing your true thoughts. But the self within kept whispering that you didn't belong in shallow conversations, that you couldn't see yourself in surface-level concerns. And then, when you begin to live closer to your true self, you start to see the invisible wall between you and others more clearly. They cannot hear the calling inside you, simply because they've never listened to themselves long enough to recognize their own. You are different, not because you choose to be, but because your soul moves to a different rhythm. That rhythm may be gentle at times, fierce at others, but it always leads you to places few ever reach, places where truth and depth reside. This difference is a double-edged sword. On one side, it can make you lonely, isolated, and sometimes doubtful of yourself. On the other, it's the very map that leads you to individuation, the journey of becoming whole and free from the weight of others' expectations. Those who haven't walked this path may look at you with suspicion, distance, or even discomfort. But that doesn't mean you're wrong. It only means they haven't yet crossed the threshold you have. Remember, being different is not a flaw to fix. It's a signal showing that you are living in your own way and that your soul is growing. The very thing that separates you from the crowd today may be the thing that leads them tomorrow. If you've ever felt like an outsider among the people you love, if you've ever wondered why you see the world from a completely different angle, understand this, it's not by accident. Your soul chose this path, and every experience, sweet or bitter, is preparing you for something greater. If what you're hearing makes you feel seen, understood, let me know you're here by subscribing to this channel and leaving a comment. Not just so you won't miss the next parts, but so you and I both know that somewhere out there, other souls are walking this path with us. There is something strange about your loneliness. It's not the loneliness of someone sitting in an empty room. It's the kind of loneliness that exists even when you are surrounded by laughter, by the most familiar faces. You talk, you share, you smile at the right moments, nod at the right times. But between you and them, there is always something thin as mist that can't be seen, can't be named. Yet you know it's there, an invisible wall. This wall doesn't place you far from them in physical space. It simply sets you on a different frequency, as if you were listening to a slow, low melody while the world around you is dancing to something fast and loud. You can't quite sync up. Even when you try, part of you remains on the edge, observing more than joining in. Maybe you've asked yourself, what did I do wrong? Have I closed myself off too much? But this wall is not the result of a mistake. It is a delicate filter built from all your experiences. Every time you felt more deeply than necessary, every moment you realized the world doesn't always operate the way it appears to on the surface. This wall isn't entirely rigid. Sometimes it opens just a crack. When you meet someone truly in tune with you, you feel warmth flow in. But those moments are so rare that you remember them like a beautiful dream, something you know you can't hold on to forever. Most of the time, the wall stays. Not to imprison you, but to keep what's inside you from being worn away. It's like the glass around a candle in the wind. It doesn't stop the light from shining outward, but it protects the flame from sudden gusts. The hardest thing to understand is even love doesn't automatically break this wall. You can love someone with all you have, and they can love you just as deeply. And still there remains a quiet distance between two hearts, a space that cannot be crossed by emotion alone. Not because love is lacking, but because some parts of you can only be reached through profound empathy, the kind not everyone is ready or able to give. This invisible wall is like a subtle border. You can allow others to pass through part of it, but no one can step into the center of your soul unless they've learned how to walk in stillness. And in this world, very few are willing to stand still that long. Most are in a hurry to respond rather than listen, in a hurry to react rather than understand, in a hurry to seek sameness rather than accept difference. And so the wall remains like a loyal gatekeeper. It knows not everyone can journey with you into the deepest parts of who you are. It isn't built to keep the world out, but to protect the integrity of what's within you from being traded away for quick connections. You will grow tired of it at times. There will be days you want to pull someone close to clear the mist, to be fully understood without having to explain. But then you realize the ones who can truly reach you will know how to step through on their own quietly without force. They won't need to break the wall because when the time is right, the wall will open. There is a paradox you will come to understand. This wall, though it makes you feel apart, is also the very thing that keeps you from dissolving into what doesn't belong to you. And when someone truly crosses it, you will know it's a connection deep enough to change you both. You can be loved to the very end and still feel like an outsider. Not everyone is ready to hear this, because it touches the deepest human belief that love will heal every distance. But if you've ever lain next to the person you love, listening to the steady rhythm of their breathing, and still felt as if you were in a different world, you understand. There are nights when the whole house is filled with laughter. People talk, ask about your day, touch each other with playful jokes or gentle caring. Have you eaten yet moments? You join in too, telling a story, laughing at the right time, raising your glass when it's expected. But deep inside, there's a stillness no sound can reach. It's not the absence of love. It's the sense that your soul is drifting along a slow river while everyone around you is rowing on another current, faster, noisier, and heading in a different direction. This delivers a kind of spiritual shock to many. Love and harmony do not always coexist. Someone may love you with all their heart, yet that doesn't guarantee they will understand the silent movements within your soul. It isn't their fault, and it isn't yours. It's simply that some depths of a person can only be touched when two souls are walking to the same rhythm of the same journey. Carl Jung observed that when a person begins a process of individuation, the journey of becoming their true self, their inner rhythm changes. And sometimes the people they love remain on the other shore waving but unable to cross. Not because love is lacking, but because that journey isn't meant for everyone. The hard truth is, you can hold someone as close as possible and still feel an emptiness that cannot be filled. That emptiness doesn't vanish with more conversations, more time spent together, or deeper affection. Because it doesn't live in time or gestures, it lives in the alignment of souls. And when two souls are traveling in different directions, that inner distance will quietly grow, even if hands are still clasped, even if hearts still love. This reality terrifies many so that they choose to deny it. They try to fill the gap with activities, with laughter, with repeated "I love yous" and "I need yous." But the soul cannot be fooled. You know when you're truly seen and when you're only being looked at. If you've ever been in this place, you know the pain of the paradox, to love and be loved, yet feel as if you're speaking through thick glass. That gap, if left unacknowledged, can become a chasm that swallows you both. But if you accept it, you'll learn something essential. Sometimes loving someone does not mean walking the same path. And true maturity is keeping your heart open even when your souls do not meet at every step. There's a strange kind of treasure that only appears in long stretches of silence. No one gives it to you. and no one teaches you how to open it. It only emerges after you've lived through enough days when every voice outside you stops being your compass. At first, you mistake it for loss. The loss of complete connection. The loss of being understood to your core. But slowly you realize it is not loss at all. It is a space you never had before, a territory of stillness that belongs entirely to you. In this territory, no one demands you explain yourself. No one edits your story to make it fit their own view. You can breathe without measuring the reactions of others. And it's here you see you have lived far too long in noise. The noise of expectations, the noise of questions that never truly wanted an answer. The noise of always having to be right in someone's eyes. This gift of stillness is not the glossy, picture-perfect peace people often describe. It is bare. It is empty. Sometimes it feels cold. But in that coldness, you can feel your own heartbeat more clearly than ever before. You start noticing the small things you once overlooked. The soft tap of a spoon against the side of a cup as you make tea. The smell of the air just before rain falls. The feeling of your bare feet pressing into cool ground. These tiny details feel like whispers, reminding you you are here, and you are truly alive. The miracle is this: when you stop seeking validation from the outside, you begin to see others differently. You no longer demand that anyone fully understand you. You let them be themselves while keeping the deepest part of you, like a closed garden opened only when you truly wish. This gift also teaches you the art of choosing your presence carefully. You stop letting meaningless conversations take up your time. You stop letting relationships that exist only for show take up space in your life. You save your energy for fewer connections, but truer ones. And then one day you realize the distance you once resented was the very thing that preserved your wholeness. Without it, you would have dissolved into what others wanted you to be and lost the true rhythm of your own being. The gift of stillness does not make you cold. On the contrary, it allows you to love more deeply, because now you don't love to be filled. You love from a place that is already full. You can stand beside someone without needing them to fully understand you and still feel at peace. And when the noisy world tries to pull you back into the old whirlpool, this gift will remind you. Here in this space is where you find yourself. There are moments in life when you realize you no longer stand on the same frequency as the world around you. Conversations that once excited you now sound like noise. Friend groups you once thought of as family now feel foreign. Gatherings that once gave you a sense of belonging now leave you with an emptiness when you return home. You begin to see clearly this distance. It didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was shaped by every experience, every wound, every moment of awakening that made it impossible for you to fall back into the old dream. Carl Jung once said, "Others cannot meet you where they have never been within themselves." This means that when you walk through certain doors of awareness, you'll find fewer and fewer people able to keep pace with you. Not because they aren't good enough, but because they aren't ready yet. You're speaking a new language they've never learned. And so you become separated, not by barbed wire or walls, but by something lighter, subtler, an invisible current of energy. You are here, they are there. Not close, not far. But you know that if you were to cross back over, you would feel yourself being pulled into the old frequency, the place you once were but no longer belong. This is where many people misunderstand. They think separation is loneliness, is loss. But for a soul that has begun to awaken, separation is a form of strength. It's like climbing a high mountain. The air is thinner. Fewer people walk this path. Sometimes it's just you in the sky. But from here you can see the whole picture below, winding roads, bending rivers, villages like tiny points of light. You see everything more clearly because your perspective has changed. This separation isn't meant for you to turn your back on the world. It is the space you need to look at the world with new eyes. You are no longer caught in the whirlpool of arguments, comparisons, judgments. because you've seen the roots of those things. You're no longer playing a game where the only prize is an ego being stroked. You're looking for something else, something the crowd hasn't even considered: truth, peace, and the freedom of the soul. But remember, this strength comes with a challenge. It can make you feel too different and lead you to doubt yourself. Am I wrong? Am I closing myself off? The truth is, you're not wrong. You are learning how to protect your energy. You are choosing what and who is allowed into the sacred space within you. And one day, you'll meet others who are also climbing their mountains. They may not have taken the same path. They may not have started at the same time. But when your paths cross, you'll recognize it instantly. Their eyes carry the same fire. You won't need to explain who you are. They'll know because they too have walked through the doors you've walked through. That is the reward of separation. It not only keeps you whole, but it leads you to the very souls you truly belong, with the ones whose presence strengthens you rather than drains you. So if right now you feel separated from your old world, don't panic. See it as a sign that your soul is shifting altitudes. The higher you climb, the wider your vision becomes. And the fewer the people, the clearer the conversation between you and your own soul and with the Creator. Separation does not make you smaller. It is preparing you to grow in ways the crowd has not yet begun to understand. It's possible that for the rest of your life, no one will ever truly understand you. They will love you in the way they know how, but they will never touch the deepest rooms within you. They will walk alongside you for many miles, but they cannot follow you into the dark corridors. Only you know the way through. And somehow, that no longer scares you. You've lived through the days of trying to hold out the map of your soul for someone else to read. You've opened your door, invited others in, only to realize they wandered around the porch and left. You've felt the hollow drop of realizing people don't see all of you. But now, you understand, not everyone is invited into every room. Not because you are arrogant or closed off, but because some places are meant for you alone. You begin to live as if recognition is no longer the fuel that keeps you alive. You no longer wait for someone to say, "I understand you," before you feel worthy. You live for the way your soul stirs at sunrise, for the sound of your own laughter echoing in a small kitchen, for the way raindrops sliding down a window make your heart feel lighter. To live without needing to be seen is a rare kind of freedom. You no longer pull yourself into someone else's line of sight. You no longer need to stand in the spotlight just to prove you exist. You can dwell in the shadows in a small corner of the world and still know you are living a life that is full. And then something miraculous happens. When you stop trying to be seen, your inner light shines even more clearly. The people meant to find you will find you, and not because you're waving from the center of the crowd, but because they recognize your frequency among 1,000 other sounds. To live this way means allowing yourself to be fully present in every moment, whether alone or surrounded by others. You don't wait for someone to bear witness to your life. You are your own witness. And when you look back, you see all the years of not being understood were not a string of failed connections. They were the training ground for your mind, the refining fire for your heart, the clearing of your love until it became pure. That love now needs no conditions, no guarantees, no immediate return. It simply is love. So if today you feel unseen, remember this. You are not invisible to what truly matters. You are not invisible to yourself. And you are not invisible to the one who placed you on this path. To live unseen but fully alive means every breath you take carries awareness, every step you walk holds freedom. And every morning you wake is a declaration. I am here. I'm alive. And that is enough. If these words have touched something in you, leave a comment, share the moment you realized you were truly living, even if no one saw it. Share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this today. And if you want to continue having conversations this deep, hit subscribe. Because who knows, the next message may arrive exactly when you need it most.